2016 World Chess Championship. This is a press conference room in New York City. By contract, both players in the World Chess Championship must attend the post-game press conference. It's not optional. If you skip it, you lose 10% of the prize pool. That's $110,000. Magnus was so devastated, he walked out of that mandatory press conference. Sergey sat there alone. He needed just 4 more draws to become world champion.
This is New York City, where the first official World Chess Championship match took place in 1886. Now, 130 years later, we are back. Reigning champion Magnus Carlsen will take on Sergey Karjakin. It is the match we have been waiting for 13 years since these two prodigies became grandmasters.
Magnus Carlsen from Norway, Sergey Karjakin from Russia. 2 men sit down to play chess for the title of world champion in New York City. A chance to cement your name in history forever. Going into this match, everyone thought Magnus would win. Easily. He was the highest-rated player in chess history, 2882 ELO, a rating no one had ever reached before. He'd defended his world title twice already. He'd held all 3 world championship titles simultaneously. By 2016, Magnus is the undisputed best player on Earth. But he's about to face someone who wants it just as badly. Someone who's had to fight for everything. Karjakin was a prodigy. His talents on the board were so obvious that as a 5-year-old, he was featured on Ukrainian television.
Не говоря уже о гроссмейстере. Как ты думаешь? Вообще, ты хочешь стать чемпионом мира?
Паша, конечно.
Дай пожму твою будущую чемпионскую руку, и ты будешь.
Just 7 years later, at age 12, he becomes a grandmaster. He says he's going to be world champion by 16. But fate sabotaged him when the director of his chess school died and the school promptly closed down. Karjakin and his family were forced to move back to their hometown.
And starting from 13 to 19 years old, I didn't have any support. Again, just completely nothing.
But he doesn't quit. Despite having no coaches, no sponsors, no money, he keeps playing. And he keeps winning. 2005, he breaks into the top 100. By 19, he's ranked 13th in the world. And that's when Russia notices. The Russian Chess Federation makes an offer to support him and his entire family financially. All he has to do is switch to Russia from Ukraine. In 2012, playing for Russia, Sergey wins the World Rapid Chess Championship, beats Magnus by a full point. He's a world champion, but he wants more. 8 of the best chess players in the world gather for the candidates tournament. Karjakin is the 2nd lowest ranked player in the tournament. Nobody expects him to win. But surprisingly, in round 5, he beats Hikaru Nakamura. Round 10, he beats Anand. Going into the final rounds, Sergey's tied for first with Fabiano Caruana.
Победитель турнира претендентов Сергей Карякин, Российская Федерация.
And now the winner of the World Candidates Tournament, Sergey Karjakin.
He's going to New York to face Magnus Carlsen for the World Championship.
Well, I'm just completely happy. I'm probably the happiest person in the world.
The match was the best of 12 games. If they're tied after 12, they play tiebreaks, faster time controls until someone wins. Magnus and Sergey shake hands and the match begins. Game 1. Magnus has white. After just 2 moves, Magnus plays bishop to g5. This is the Trumpowski attack. The internet immediately starts calling it the Trumpowski attack. The game proceeds. Carlsen achieves a slightly better pawn structure in the endgame. In the end, there was hardly anything for both, and Karjakin earned a comfortable draw. Game 2. Sergey has white. He opens with Roy Lopez. It's clear early on. Sergey intends to play safe against Magnus. After the opening, the middle game shows a completely symmetrical kingside. After a couple more moves, both men agree to draw. Magnus knows he is the superior player of the two, and these draws start to frustrate him. Game 3 starts with the classic Roy Lopez opening. And later in the opening, he played the absurd-looking move Rook e2 instead of Rook e1, blocking his bishop and queen diagonals, to provoke Sergey to play b6. Sergey takes the bait. Magnus moves it back to e1 on the very next move. Later on, looking to put pressure on Magnus, Sergey commits his first big mistake, c5.
c5, which really wrecks his pawn structure on the queen side. It presents this square to the knight. It's possible it might use that square later on. I thought this was an extraordinary move, so out of character for Karjakin.
After a long maneuvering phase, for the small price of one pawn, Magnus wins Sergey's bishop. At this point, 6 whole hours have flown by, and both players started to make mistakes due to tiredness. Karjakin played the losing move on move 70. But Carlsen returned the favor on move 72, allowing Karjakin to escape. Somehow, Sergey survives. On move 78, both men agreed to a draw. When both players arrived at the press conference, Karjakin was given a standing ovation.
Magnus, the computer says you have quite a few good chances today. Are you afraid of what you're going to find when you go through this game?
Yes, absolutely.
Game 4. Draw after 94 moves. Game 5. Sergey has a winning position but can't find it. Draw after 75 moves. Game 6. Quick draw after 32 moves. Game 7. Draw after 33 moves. 7 games, 7 draws.
Is it weird that you drew every game?
Games end in a draw even when there is a fight. But it is unusual that every single game has been drawn. But I don't necessarily think that it will happen from now on. But we'll see.
And that brings us to Game 8, where everything changes. But before moving forward, let's talk about our sponsor. ChessReps just dropped their biggest update ever. 50 full opening repertoires built by grandmasters and international masters, including super GMs Andrei Esipenko. The grandmasters break their exact lines down move by move, explaining the ideas behind every position, and the website uses spaced repetition to drill them into your muscle memory. You can get the entire site for less than $3 a month, which is insane given just one of these courses can cost hundreds of dollars elsewhere. Grab a 7-day free trial of ChessReps Premium with the link in the description. D4. Carlsen had enough of trying to break down Karjakin with e4 and decides to play a closed system. For 19 moves, nobody takes anything. No trades. On move 35, both players are down to seconds a move, and under such time pressure, Carlsen pushes a pawn to c5. It's a blunder. Carlsen's 2 pawns fall for nothing, but Karjakin has no time to calculate. Both men are already down to 30-second increments. One wrong move, and the advantage disappears. On move 37, he blunders. Queen d3. Upon making his 40th move, Karjakin slumped his head in his hand. The winning position is gone. On move 44, Carlsen has queen g6 check on the board. A forced draw, but he doesn't take it. And then, move 51, Carlsen plays his queen to e6. Karjakin doesn't reach for anything sharp in return. He plays h5. Now Carlsen does not have a single useful move.
It is the biggest threat in this position if you do nothing is the move, I'll just show you for example, of queen a6. The problem is the move h4 is coming in this position. After g takes h4, moves like queen to c3 are slowly but surely going to put white in a position where there's no way to deal with the threats of b2 and the threats against the open king. The pawns and the number of them are irrelevant. What matters is who will create the concrete threat of getting a queen. And in order to stop that, white will probably have to sacrifice a mating net. The position is just lost if you don't believe me, analyze it yourself. Because of that, Carlsen was up against the wall, couldn't allow h4, and he played h4 himself. Well, here comes the knockout blow, kids. 1, 2, 3, a2.
Magnus stares at the board for 1 minute and 48 seconds. And resigns. Magnus gets to the press conference room before anyone else. Sits there alone while hundreds of cameras click. If you skip the press conference, you forfeit 10% of the prize pool. That's over $100,000. Magnus doesn't care. He just walks out. For the first time in Magnus Carlsen's championship career, he's losing a match. Sergey needs just 4 more draws to become world champion. Game 9. Karjakin has white. And this time, he played the best chess of this match. Magnus, trying to take Sergey out of preparation, plays the Archangel variation with bishop c5. But Sergey's prepared. On the 31st move, had Carlsen played knight b4, it would have followed the snappy queen takes g6 check. Karjakin demonstrated this line to the delight of the audience.
Rook a8 is right, because knight before queen g6 and white wins. My little hope.
But Carlsen found the better move. 8 moves later, Karjakin finds bishop takes f7 check. Carlsen's king is ripped open. But this was a mistake. There was a better move on the board. Queen b3, a line that may have just won outright. Karjakin played on for 35 more moves before a draw was agreed.
Alright, so for Magnus, you've never been in this situation 1 point behind in the World Chess Championship. What sort of tools are you using to handle it, and how comfortable are you with being the one hunting?
I mean, it's not a very comfortable situation, of course. But I think the way I have to think about it is I have to win 1 game out of 3, and normally that's something I'm capable of doing.
November 24th. Thanksgiving Day. The venue is packed. Everyone wants to see if Magnus can pull off the comeback. Sergey misses an early draw opportunity. Magnus starts pressing. The advantage grows. Karjakin defended with real resourcefulness for the next 30-plus moves. At one point, commentators openly wondered whether Karjakin had built an unbreakable fortress. Then, move 57, Carlsen found the break. b5. Sergey resigns.
It feels very good. It wasn't pretty by any means, but it's just what I needed.
On the 10th game of a 12-game match, they're tied.
It's a huge relief, obviously. I mean, I haven't won in 10 games, and that's something that's basically not happened to me before. And yeah, it's been a struggle, and it will continue to be a struggle. But at least now we're fighting on level terms.
Game 11 and 12 are drawn. They're tied 6-6. Which means it's time for tiebreaks. 4 rapid games, 25 minutes each. They draw the first 2 games. But in Game 3, Magnus breaks the deadlock.
Oh, look at that.
6, 5,
yes, he
4,
resigns.
3,
Magnus won it.
He resigns.
and Magnus Carlsen has won the first game of the tiebreak.
And now Sergey has to win the 4th game to force another tiebreak. Magnus, however, just needs a draw. Karjakin's rook chases Carlsen's king to the edge of the board. His queen joins in. Suddenly, it's Carlsen who's cornered, and Karjakin who's threatening not one checkmate, but 4 different ways to deliver it. But it's Carlsen's move. For 29 seconds, Magnus thinks about what to do. And he delivers one of chess's greatest moves ever. Queen h6 check.
And he sees it.
And it's 16.
He sees it.
Whoa! What a way to finish off a world championship. Amazing combination by Magnus.
He couldn't capitalize.
Scintillating.
He couldn't capitalize on winning on 3.
Magnus Carlsen defends his title for the 2nd time.
I would like to thank my opponent again for a very good fight. Again, it wasn't easy at any moment, and yeah, if a couple of crucial moments had gone another way, we'd have a different champion here today, and it's also humbling for me that it's not easy. And if I or anyone else thinks it is, then it's time to get back to Earth.